Hello everyone and welcome to Mars Garden and Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to grow your own sweet potato slips at home. If you're new here, my name is Mari and I am gardening in Queens, New York City. This is considered zone 7B. Sweet potatoes take a very long time to grow, so for zone 7 it's recommended that you start them by February and maybe by latest the beginning of March. They take 60 to 90 days to get up to this stage. And then after you plant them in the soil, they will still need 100 to 120 days to produce a good amount of sweet potatoes. There are a couple ways that you can actually grow your own sweet potatoes at home. You could do it in soil, or the method that I like to use, you submerge it in water and just wait for the slips to grow. To do this is very simple. You just need a few toothpicks, a cup or a jar, and your sweet potato. When buying your sweet potato, I recommend that you get organic. Every time that you're gonna grow anything that you get from the grocery store, it's always recommended that you get organic. Even though it's a bit more expensive, this will produce you a lot more sweet potatoes once you get them in the ground and growing. I have personally never bought these slips myself, but I've heard from other gardeners that it's very expensive to buy just the slips online. I believe they can run each by like $15 to $20, so it's really expensive. You can buy a sweet potato in the farmer's market. This is a Japanese sweet potato. They can be a bit pricey, but from one potato here, I'm gonna be able to grow so many more, so I think it's still worth it. Now, the Japanese sweet potato here, it's a bit of a funky shape. You know, I couldn't really tell what was the top and what was the bottom, but it's recommended that you, when you get a potato like this, that you know which is the top and the bottom first, and that you put not the pointy side, this side down. That's why the toothpicks are very handy, because that's going to, you don't want it to submerge the whole sweet potato. So I have this jar here that I'm going to be using today, and if I didn't have the toothpicks, you just go all the way to the bottom. You don't need to cover that much. About here would be fine, and then within a few weeks some slips gonna start to grow. I have already started one as an example too. I did this one yesterday. So as you can see, it is submerged about halfway, and the toothpicks are helping to stay above the water. So for this sweet potato here, I like to first put it in the glass before I put the toothpicks, so I know where I'm going to be placing the toothpicks at. I'm gonna hold it a little bit above, so and before I put the water, so I know where it's going to go. And put about 3 toothpicks. You want to have a heavy glass or a jar like this, because if the sweet potatoes are heavy, they could tip over if you just have it in a little plastic cup or something like that. So I recommend that you get a bit of a sturdier vessel. There you go. And after I put the toothpicks on, I'm going to fill up with water. Be careful when you put in the water, because once you submerge the sweet potato in there, some of the water will come up. So you can put like 3/4 of the way first, I think, and then put in more. There you go, just a little bit more. Otherwise, if you fill all the way to the top, the water will spill. Ooh, see? Just a little bit more has already made a difference. So I'm gonna remove a bit of this water. There you go, perfect now. At this stage, you don't need to put them by a windowsill yet. You can just leave it in a warm spot in your house, and once you start seeing some buds or some greens, you can move it to a windowsill. You do not need grow lights for this. They grow very nicely just with natural light from outside. This one has been growing here for about 3 months now. I think it's been about 90 days. I started this early so I could show you guys the difference. And this one here, it's been about 6 weeks. So I really recommend that you start early, and once it's time to plant them in the garden, you will just break them off and put it in the ground. Sweet potatoes like warm weather and warm soil, so you want the soil to be about 60 degrees by the time you put them outside. Here in New York, even though last frost date is about April 5th to 12th, the nights are still really cold by then. I'm going to wait until May to put these slips out. For this one over here that I already have grown, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put them in some soil. If you wanna see how that's going to turn out and how these other sweet potatoes are going to do, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting updates about this in my garden through the whole growing season. If you're curious to see how my garden looked like last year, I only had a front yard garden and a plot garden that I helped the neighbor, and you can check it out for the playlist I'm going to put up below. We have moved and now we have a backyard, so I'm very excited. We're gonna do a lot more growing this year, and I'm planning to grow the sweet potatoes in grow bags. I'm not going to put them in the soil. When time comes, I'm going to be transplanting these slips to grow bags, and we're gonna see how they're gonna do in there. I have planted potatoes in there, even though potatoes and sweet potatoes are not related. The sweet potatoes are in the morning glory family. I just have a feeling that because their fabric pots are really good for the roots, they might do well in there as well. So we're gonna do an experiment. We're gonna try it out this year. If you're planning to grow some sweet potatoes this year, just let me know on the comment section down below. If you have purchased slips before, let me know where you usually get them from and how pricey they were. I'm very curious to see how much they actually go for. But I can tell you right now, you can save some money by doing that yourself, because it is very easy to leave them out there. You have to change the water about 3 to 4 days, but sometimes I have forgotten and they still did well. This is just an encouragement to you to still keep going. If you forget, just make sure you change it and wash the jar if it's a little slimy, and then place them out in the sun again. So I'm excited to see how long more these are going to take to grow up to this point, and I'm going to be running the experiment of putting this in soil, and I'm excited to see how that's going to do too. So far it has very nice roots. They look, oh, there's more slips going here too. I just noticed. Actually, check this out. Just noticed these little guys coming out too. That's cool. So I'm going to break these big slips and maybe even leave these ones here and see if they're gonna keep doing. So that'll be a fun experiment to run. And that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you got any value from this video, please make sure to give it a like. I would really appreciate if you could do that. It does really help with YouTube, so other people that are also interested in this kind of content will be able to see it too. I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.